Hi, I'm Mayor Kim Roscoe with the City of Fife. Thank you so much, TEDx Youth at Bellevue High School, for inviting us to speak to you today. I have Councilmember Lisa McClellan and Associate Planner on this WebEx call, and we are hoping for no tech issues, fingers crossed. Our plan is to have a dialogue about women in government and why we think it is so important for women of all ages, especially youth, to get involved and help shape our world. We're going to start off with some brief introductions, and then we'll have a question and answer session. As I mentioned, I'm Kim Roscoe, and I am a 23-year resident, 22-year resident of the City of Fife. And a little bit of info about our city. We're definitely unique. Many of you have driven through our city if you're licensed drivers on I-5. We are what's called a city manager form of government, where we have 7 elected council members who set policy for the city, and we have a hired city manager who runs our day-to-day operations. As mayor, I am one of the 7 council members. I am elected from votes by the council, and we elect our mayor every 2 years and our deputy mayor every 1 year. We changed to this form of government in the late 1990s, and it's common at this point. I think I can't speak to how long it's been around, but it's not the same as, say, the city of Seattle, where you have a mayor that is elected and is the CEO of the city and runs the day-to-day operations. I have really appreciated support and the opportunity to be mayor for the city. I am the 2nd woman mayor for the City of Fife, and I'm the 1st mayor within the form of government as city manager. And I know that later in my talk, I will be speaking to our former female mayor, Marion Rich, as an inspiration. So I'll share some information with her at that point. Next, I'd like to introduce Councilmember Lisa McClellan, a bit about herself, and we'll go from there. Over to you, Lisa.
Hi, I am Lisa McClellan. So a little bit about myself. I grew up in the Fife area. Currently where I live, my mother's a 1/4 mile down the road and my grandmother is a 1/2 mile down the road. So we're all very close in the local community. So I purchased my home 6 years ago. And as I was moving in, settling, I had a then wannabe city council member, who is now currently city council member Brian Yambe, door knock my door. He happened to enjoy my politically motivated bumper stickers, and after door knocking, I received a Facebook message seeing if I wanted to meet for coffee. Well, since then, he started to, hey, you need to run, you need to do this, you need to get involved. And it took me a while, but I finally was able to join our local parks board. I was on the parks board for a couple of years, and then I was able to join our planning commission for about, I believe that was about 1.5 years. And then happened to be in March of 2017, a open position for the city council was available. Now this position was by appointment, so I decided to go ahead. I went in front of the current, that would have been 6 council members, gave my little speech and my little why I wanted to run for city council. Thankfully, I was appointed, which was great. So I was able to serve out that appointment until the end of the year. And then I actually ran for city council. My term ends in 2021, so I've still got 1.5 years and hoping to possibly rerun again in 2021. That's a little bit about me. So now I would like to go ahead and pass it over to our city planner, Taylor Jones.
Thank you, Lisa. I'm Taylor Jones. I'm associate planner with the City of Fife. And I would say that a less traditional path led me to my career in local government and position with Fife. I returned to school as an adult and finished my degree at University of Washington, Tacoma, where I double majored in sustainable urban development and communication, and also got a certificate in geographic information systems. I fell into the field of urban studies after taking a few classes that seemed interesting, and I was quickly drawn in and attracted to how so many of our lives are determined by the urban landscape and regional policymaking. I interned with the cities of Tacoma and Renton before finding my home with the city of Fife, and I've been here for 3 years. And I will give it back to Kelsey, I think, if you're going to start with questions.
Perfect. So now we're going to jump into some question and answers. So let's start with Lisa. Can you tell us what you think the political landscape will look like for women in 10 years?
Yeah, so obviously this is hard to say exactly what it will look like, but I'd like to give my hopes and aspirations for this. So my dream is that I am able to look out at all the elected officials, not only in the city, in the local jurisdictions, the federal jurisdictions, and see equal amounts of not only men and women, but also faces of minorities and LGBTQ persons. I hope that in the future, women will be able to speak their minds without the backlash that we're currently seeing. We have such a different perspective, and it's so important that the perspective of women is heard in our day-to-day government. You know, I am so thankful that I'm on a council that is as diverse as it is. As you can see, we have a female mayor who is just such an inspiration, and I am so thankful that I have her, and not only her, but I also have 2 other minorities and another woman on the council with me. So my dream is and hope is that in the political landscape, we'll see more equality. You look out at our statistics in our communities, and we can see plainly that women, minorities are not represented equally in local government. So I'm hoping and dreaming that in 10 years, we will see that equal representation. That's it for me. Back to Kelsey.
Thank you, Lisa. Okay, now a question for Taylor. How can young people become more involved in their local government?
Thanks, Kelsey. There's a lot of ways that young people can get involved in local government. My first experience with local government was working as a camp counselor for my city's Parks and Recreation department in high school. And that was really my first glimpse into what services the city provides. And when I began thinking about the work being done behind the scenes that produces both the positive and negative aspects of the neighborhoods we live in. I'd encourage young people to attend or stream, especially right now, their local planning commission and city council meetings to learn what issues are being discussed where they live and what's going on in their backyards. Many cities, including Bellevue, have youth councils that are service-oriented and provide an introduction into local politics and government. So that's a way to just really get involved at the ground level. And back to you, Kelsey.
Okay, Kim, and now a question for you. Can you tell us about a woman that you look up to or that's inspired you?
Definitely. I actually have 3, and I'll just give a quick shout out to 2 of them, my predecessors, basically. Helen Gallagher. I actually bought my house from her family here in the city of Fife, and I know that she was on the council. And former Mayor Marian Wetch. She was also in my neighborhood, and I did have a chance to meet her and know her daughter and grandchildren. But really, I would say my strongest influence right now is Tacoma Mayor Victoria Woodards. And I got to know her shortly after being elected by the council to become mayor. I was even able to spend some time with her on an active transportation trip that we took to Copenhagen. And she is so approachable and well engaged with people when they approach her with questions. And that is an inspiration to me. I didn't necessarily set out to be a public servant or be an elected official. And having conversations with her has really built my confidence around being comfortable when folks directly being able to say, I don't have that answer, being able to say, I need more information, let's have a conversation about that. And I use that information and share it with you to also encourage you to make sure that you're engaging with your elected officials and the folks in your community that you see that are in charge. we are people just like you. We are the residents in your city, we're residents in your county, we're residents in your state. And getting involved is something really that anyone can do. I do think that if you do have questions or issues in any parts of your world, that you do try to these days. And again, back to Woodard's, there are some unprecedented issues that local and national governments are dealing with. And it's important that you share your opinions. Your elected officials want to hear them, but understand that it's important to use respect and remember that we're all in this together. So if I could have Victoria Woodards on this call with us, I'm sure she'd have some great words of wisdom for you. And with that, I would actually encourage you to reach your elected officials and let concerns and ask them the tough questions. Thank you, Kelsey, for that question. And back to you.
Perfect, thank you. So lastly, we'd like to leave you listeners with some encouragement and suggestions. What advice do you guys have for our youth, especially young women who want to pursue a career in government?
I would just encourage people to reach out and ask to be connected to someone for a casual meeting or coffee date. Many people in government are passionate about their careers, and they're excited about younger generations getting involved, and they love the opportunity to answer your questions and advice. You can also look for summer jobs and internships. Internships are available at high school and college levels. And if you don't see one posted, but are very interested in a certain organization, just reach out anyway. Sometimes positions will be created if a department's needs and your personal interests and experiences align. Most importantly, just look for ways to get involved with your community and the issues you're passionate about. Mentorship and career opportunities and connections can happen at any time if you put yourself out there. And you really do have the ability to impact the world around you and make meaningful change. Lisa, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, and as a current council member, I would like to just say how amazing it is, not only when we have members of our public join our meetings, but also young members and of our community. It is just so encouraging when people want to get involved and want to ask questions. Even if you can't stay for the whole meeting and you want to just drop in, give us some advice, some thoughts on a park issue or a school issue or something that you would like to see in our local community, we really appreciate seeing you at our meetings. In even virtual meetings, you can drop a comment beforehand to let us know. So we appreciate seeing your faces at our meetings. And Kim, I'll let you wrap it up.
Right on. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you, Taylor. And thank you, Kelsey. Kelsey Geddes is our community engagement manager. And she has moderated for us today and tried to keep us in line. We're pretty good talkers, especially myself. And TEDx at Bellevue High School, thank you for joining us today. And remember that the world is in your hands. I know that's the theme of this year's talk. Make sure you use your influence to get involved and help shape our future in government. Thank you.